Tonight on Chronicle, classic cars, vintage motorcycles, a 50s diner, and rockin' music.
Tour the shop, tour the facility, bring your hot rod, your motorcycle, show off your stuff. There's nothing like this around.
It's Nirvana for gearheads at HotRod City.
It has been referred to as a man mall.
Food, music, motorcycles, cars. I mean, it's just awesome.
Crocodiles, snakes, and exotic reptiles. You too can feed the gators at Prehistorics Park.
We have Bilbo and Frodo. These guys are, most of the animals out here, they're all rescues.
We just want it to be a nice place that families can come and get an up-close experience with all the animals.
Plus Fritz Weatherby's New Hampshire.
She towed that sledge 30 miles all by herself on snowshoes. I'll tell you the story.
That's next on Chronicle.
So what do you think? I think this car suits me pretty well. Yeah.
And the dice are a nice touch, right?
The dice, I love the dice. The red, you know, it wouldn't be complete without the red dice. 55 Thunderbird right here, folks. For those who don't know, but for gearheads, of course, they probably recognize that car right away.
But you don't have to recognize that car to think it is a nice, sweet set of wheels, right?
No kidding, huh? Yeah, and this is the place, by the way, to see sweet sets of wheels, as you can see behind us. Look at this place.
We're here at Paintworks Unlimited. It is just one of several businesses located in HotRod City. It's a kind of gearhead mecca where lovers of custom cars and motorcycles get together to get their wheels spinning.
Yeah, that's right. They gather every week for a cruise-in night where anyone can join in on the fun, and once a year for a full open house filled with classic beauties.
Producer Cindy Jeff Jones, once a gearhead herself, checked it all out.
Let's hit the road!
Welcome to HotRod City. It's a great group of businesses. We got bikes, we got cars, we got music, we got food. Let's give it up. Wanted to Funk. See ya.
We do an open house every year. It was the same time last year. It was our grand opening, obviously, last year. And it just made sense to do it again, and we'll do it every year after this. And it's just basically a big open house, like it says. All the doors are open, tour the shop, tour the facility, bring your hot rod, your motorcycle. It isn't necessarily a formal car show. It's more just a hangout. It's, show off your stuff, come for a while, leave, come back. And then obviously we've got to have the music element. So keep the music happening along with the food and cars.
Never been here. Saw it advertised on Facebook. Wanted to come check out the hot rods.
158.
I like the pinup style.
I think it's pretty nice. It's more of a destination than a repair shop.
This event will attract all different types of people. The old-time hot rodders, we get a lot of younger crowd that actually is into older cars and not necessarily all the newer cars. The whole gamut of motorcycle people, the wide range of people that come in.
That's the one good place to hang out for a retired guy. Shoot the breeze, talk about cars. I think it's pretty cool.
This is a 39 Ford Coupe, and it's been in the body shop for 18 months. I just got it back, and it's in upholstery now, and I hope to have it this summer.
HotRod City came about out of me needing to expand my business. I was looking to build a place and then found this, which was an old armory, and decided to move into here and brought a bunch of my friends and fellow businessmen with it. So we kind of created a mecca for all things motor related and rock and roll.
I like the whole idea of like taking an old armory and do something really neat with it, with the type of businesses that are in here, you know, the food, music, motorcycles, cars. I mean, it's just awesome.
There's 6 businesses in here. It's Paintworks Unlimited and Ralph's House of Tone, Cherry Bomb's Diner, RPM Cycles, Division Custom Cycle Fab, and Last Chance Power Sports.
We came because we can work with the other shops. We've got a lot of advantages with the paint booth, machining capabilities next door, and a lot of like-minded people in the same area where we can bounce ideas off each other.
We all build things. I'm building guitars, or fixing guitars, or dealing with some customers, or we're teaching guitar. Sean is working on cars, and the phones are ringing. The bike shops tools are running. You hear compressors running.
A lot of guys that ride motorcycles they're also into music. They like to eat. They're into cars and whatnot. So there's a lot of neat stuff going on here. So it gives people a reason just to stop by.
I'm one of the 5 businesses that are in HotRod City, and we are the food. And we're a diner. It kind of goes along with Hot Rods. We serve a full breakfast all day, but at 10 o'clock we start lunch. Some 50s items like meatloaf, stuffed peppers. Everything we sell or serve, we make.
It has been referred to as a man mall. We're all have become really pretty good friends too. Paintworks is all the restoration, hot rod, and painting. RPMs does late model Harley-Davidson service, repair, accessories, basically from years 2000 and up. Division Custom Cycle Fab does Harley-Davidsons from 2000 down. Old shovelheads, handheads, that sort of thing. Does restoration, custom work. And Last Chance Power Sports does early metric stuff, Yamahas, Hondas, and then also really specialize in the British stuff. Kind of have everything covered that way. Every Thursday night we do a cruise, much like what we have here, just on a little smaller scale. The diner does stay open and serves food. It's an informal, pull in, park your car, hang out. There's a new class of cars that are referred to as rat rods, which is older car that isn't all painted and pretty. It's rusty, it's kind of cobbed together, and you're seeing a lot of the younger generation doing something like that, which is kind of neat because that's how hot rodding started back in the 50s. It's almost like the traditional hot rodding is coming back a little bit like that, which is kind of neat. The biggest comment I got of last year was, "This is great, there's nothing like this around."
Coming up, strong women.
After the break,
You can just imagine, when you think about it, she's 100 and, probably 60, 170 pounds. Most of that is muscle. I mean, think about it, this is just a big muscle right here, but they're also gentle giants. They really, really are.
WMUR and Home at Last are partnering with participating Wendy's restaurants in New Hampshire on a very special campaign. You spend $1 on a coupon book, which gets you $13 in savings, including a free Frosty and fries, and Wendy's will donate a minimum of $10,000 to the New Hampshire Foster and Adoptive Parent Association. It's a win-win for everybody and a chance to really help kids who are looking for their home at last.
So do you want me to tweak the carburetor?
I don't think you should touch anything.
The shunerator?
Please don't touch anything. We don't want to mess this up.
I watched lots of YouTube videos.
They built this, from the ground up,
Yeah,
this
it's
car.
a beautiful car.
It's a Ford Anglia.
The Ford Anglia, street rod, if you will. Yeah.
And I just noticed there is no door handle here.
So how does one get into the Anglia? Oh, wow.
How awesome is that, huh?
Wow.
I'm going to just get on into my new vehicle.
This is not what you expect in like a classic car,
right? You
right?
have to close the door on your own, though.
Oh, well, okay. Well, you get half of the work done for you anyway.
And a little door handle right here.
If you want to get out in case of emergencies.
I know.
All right, you're going to have to drive off the lot in this thing.
You got to kind of scoot down to look out that front.
Isn't that how you drive anyway?
Well, next up tonight, alligators, tortoises, lizards, crocodiles, tarantulas, and a friendly python or two can be found right exactly where you'd expect. and a small neighborhood business in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Of course, right? You and your loved ones can get up close and personal with all of these exotic and rare animals at Prehistorics, a specialty reptile and fish store that does educational shows for schools, scout meets, and of course, birthday parties.
Yeah, we visited there, right? Quite the parties, I hear. The kids even get to feed the alligators, which is a lot of fun.
Not fed to the alligator, they feed the alligators, right?
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Audrey Cox takes us to this local jungle.
Pythons, alligators, and a variety of unusual reptiles. You never know what you will find at Prehistorics Park in Exeter.
Prehistorics Park is an interactive exhibit where people can go and feed the animals and just kind of get up close and personal with all of the exotic creatures we have here.
When co-owner Sylvia Campbell says up close and personal, trust me, she means it. Children get a chance to feed the alligators in their outdoor pond, while I get a chance to hold one. Well, a baby gator, that is. Sylvia and her fiance, Dave Hellenberg, run the 5-acre park and the adjacent store. Sylvia admits she's had a fascination with reptiles since she was a child, but a fear of snakes she would learn to overcome once she met Dave.
I met my fiance at a pet store, local pet store, and we started collecting lizards, and I was getting more comfortable with them, and soon I realized it was just psychological, it wasn't really a real fear. And so from there, I've just kind of been exploring all the different animals and learning about them.
Handling snakes, never a problem for Dave, as he shows us this rare albino python.
Albinos are always going to be kind of rare. I mean, they're way more popular now. 10, 15 years ago, this snake was extremely rare. You didn't really find it that much. Now, I mean, they're around. It's still not a snake you're going to see every day. And they'll always be, special just because look how bright and vibrant it is.
Dave says a major goal of Prehistorics Park is education. They want to dispel the myths about snakes and lizards while teaching people, especially children, how to respect wild animals.
Everyone knows a dog has a personality and a cat has a personality. People don't think reptiles have a personality, and if you're a reptile lover and you're a reptile keeper, you know for a fact that they're wrong. They absolutely do. I mean, you have the snakes that are friendly and they're good with kids, and you have the snakes that should just stay in their cage and, take them out when need be. It's just every snake, lizard, they're all different. They all have their own little quirks and personalities.
Among the most popular at the park has to be these guys. This is called a sulcata tortoise. They originated in northern Africa. Gentle and very eager to eat.
We have Bilbo and Frodo. These guys are, most of the animals out here, they're all rescues. For us, especially animals like this, just because the tortoise is, really cute when it's about 3 inches big, right, 4 inches big. These guys, they're the 3rd largest tortoise in the world. And they're not always meant to make good pets. I mean, these guys will get easily 200 pounds.
200 pounds because, as you can see, they spend most of their time eating.
As soon as he sees it coming, he's not, it's not like a snapping turtle. He won't bite you or anything. He pretty much just wants his food. So once he sees it, he's too. There we go.
Oh, there you go. There is also a snapping turtle. Definitely don't want to put your hand near his mouth. But the resident who gets the most attention would be Gemma, all 170 pounds of her. She is a reticulated python, the longest species of snake. If you have a fear of anything that slithers, meeting Gemma is one way to overcome that. I thought, there's a first time for everything, why not?
Whoa! Oh, wow.
Yeah, right there. Here you go.
Oh, who needs to lift weights?
Exactly, this is what we do.
This is like, you could do squats with this thing.
Yeah, you can just imagine, when you think about it, she's 100 and, probably 60, 170 pounds. Most of that is muscle. I mean, you think about it, this is just a big muscle right here, but they're also gentle giants. They really, really are.
Gemma is the star of the kids' shows at Prehistorics. 9-year-old Sydney Perkins has held her a few times.
Why do you like the snake so much?
Because, well, it's big, it's heavy. I like heavy things.
Especially with reptiles, all of our shows, everything is hands-on. We have extra animals that we bring that are no-touch animals, just because they're more aggressive. But everything that we bring to our show, our normal shows, they're all handleable. Kids will pet them, whether it's an alligator or a ball python or an 18-foot reticulated python.
and it's just cool for us to be able to teach kids about animals, to kind of like, start it for them.
Dave says he's always liked reptiles since he was a kid himself. This guy, Hercules, is one of his favorites.
What is Hercules?
He's a black-throated monitor.
Which is?
It's a lizard. It's a reptile. It's basically, I guess the way to compare it, it's similar to a Komodo dragon. Definitely not the same animal by any means, but very similar. Doesn't get as big. He's not venomous or anything. You can tell. I'm sitting here petting him under the neck, on the top of his head. He's just loving it.
The Prehistorics store sells a variety of fish species as well as live coral and food. It also breeds snakes and a number of different reptiles. Look closely inside these eggs. Those are tiny pythons. They cut open the egg just a few days before the snakes are due to hatch.
The reason we cut it, it's a safer way to do it to make sure that more of them live. That way none of them will actually drown in the eggs or anything like that. So we cut them open. We don't pull anybody out or anything. We let them do all that on their own.
So take a little walk on the wild side. It's all right here at Prehistorics in Exeter.
We want people to always come, bring their lunch. We've got picnic tables and stuff. We just want it to be a nice place that families can come and get an up-close experience with all the animals.
The first man to erect a frame house here within the borders of the town of Barnstead was Colonel Richard Sinclair. Colonel Sinclair came here from Newington in 1767. He had fought in the French and Indian Wars and later in the Revolutionary War. His rank was that of captain. In the Barnstead town history, he is called colonel, however. I don't know where the increase in rank came from. Maybe he was in the militia. Colonel's only son, John, became a soldier in the War of 1812. John took a minie ball through the lung at the siege of Fort Erie in 1814. Because of this wound, the young man suffered the rest of his life. He died here in Barnstead at the age of 39, survived by his wife Betsy and their only child, a son. Due to his mother's grit and tenacity, that son got an education, became a state senator, and later moved to Florida, where he became very rich, growing fruit. His father, Colonel Richard Sinclair, was married to Polly Silly. She was the sister of Colonel Joseph Silly of Nottingham. No doubt you know who he is. He served in Rogers Rangers, and later he participated in the raid on Fort William and Mary. Polly Sinclair was also a remarkable person. A story in the 1872 Barnstead town history tells how Polly, alone on snowshoes one February day, walked all the way from Newington here to Barnstead, towing a large sledge loaded with hay for the family cow. Distance is over 30 miles. Another story, she once encountered a deer while walking home. She then drove the deer into the deep snow, kept on its trail until the animal became exhausted. She then dispatched it with a jackknife, dressed it out, and pulled the carcass home for a feast. Back then, we think women were the fairer sex. Fairer sex. My foot.
Coming up next, your hometown weather.
So what do you think about this sweet set of wheels? Can you imagine?
I will have to imagine, I think, right?
It's a 67 Corvette, the chassis of an old Corvette, and it will be like that one day.
You know what's amazing is a lot of gearheads out there probably recognize this chassis, but
probably.
It looks like another car to me, but this is a Vet,
I know,
huh?
it kind of looks like a rusted piece of junk right now, but yeah, in about a year, come on back and you will not believe what this thing will be turned into.
There's a lot of work. Paintworks Unlimited will have to take this thing apart piece by piece, of course, clean it up, make it all like new. And wow,
it's what they love to do.
I can't imagine that, though. The patience you got to have to recreate something like this.
But they just love it.
All right, well, I'm going to imagine this, though, the red paint on it. Yeah, you
Wind
driving
blowing
down the
through my
road.
hair.
Got the radio on.
Have a good night.